Cool. All right, so for the people that are just joining us for the first time, this is just basically our 3-day preschool kind of, I guess, introduction. It is a very basic, functional program to get people to begin to work on fundamentals of arm swing, working on just developing quick twitchiness movements, and some striking to the ground. It's built for you to be able to do at home or in a small area or small space, and there are tons of modifications we can make for people that might not have 10, 20, or 30, or 40 yards, okay? So we'll lead you through dynamics again, same dynamics, the same simple dynamics, and then we'll kind of get you rolling through day 2. I need to get this sent to Wendy also, but I just want you guys to have at least a snapshot of the sets and reps that we did on day 1 and the sets and reps that we'll do today on day 2, and then when we do this again on Friday. And again, to clean it up, hey, this is not I'm not trying to throw a strength speed seminar. This is just volunteering time for people and organizations that might not be with their organized team right now to get organized workouts in and organized training, or just don't have the facilities right now because of the situation that we're in the pandemic. All right. So to start, we'll start our just our basic dynamics again, and we start with the straight leg kick. And so we'll be able to walk through straight leg kick again. If you have space for this, we can go 10 yards. If you don't have space for 10 yards, we'll just do 10 reps of opposite hand to foot, okay? So it's just going opposite hand to foot, and you can walk it out. But if you don't have the space to walk out 10 yards, you can do it in place. You can go leg swing, opposite hand to foot for 5 reps, and then you can switch and do the other side. Okay, still, act, in the same way as getting your straight leg kicks while you're walking. All right. We'll kind of base this off of, since Ozzy's doing it with us, as he's going through it, we'll kind of move on and progress like that. The second part is just the walking lunges. Again, when we teach our lunges, we teach to step through and work on arm swings. Step through our lunge. We do not stop in between. We don't lunge and then stop. We want to keep the glutes engaged and the hip engaged as we step through with nice little arm swing as we walk through, okay? So again, you can do this 10 yards, or you can just get you 10 reps of walking lunges. All right, the third movement on our simple dynamics is just a slide and glide. Nice and simple. You remember, we're gonna step, drop the hips all in one motion. If you had a marker on a pin on your head, it would basically make like a U shape, okay? So you're gonna drop your hips, step underneath, back up on the other side. You can do 5 reps in each direction. 5 to the left, and then you'll come back, do 5 to the right. Here we go, Ozzy. All right. This fourth part is just our high knees. And remember, when we're doing high knees, we want to be rapid, okay? We don't need to be so long with the arm, Ozzy. We can be nice and short, just right here, bottom of the face cheek to butt cheek, okay? So one thing I do want to point out, though, is when we're doing our high knees, point this camera down a little bit. As that foot comes up, We don't want to have the toe pointing down. We want to have the toe up. Okay? Whenever you strike, you should have a nice, strong foot and a nice, strong ankle that doesn't allow that heel to cave to the ground, all right? When we're doing that high knee, let's be twitchy. Let's really get our nervous system worked up. Let's get our heart rate going. So high knees, we can go 10 yards, and we want to be nice and twitchy to really get us warmed up and prepared to fast. Good. Okay. And then as we go into butt kicks, let's remember when we're doing our butt kicks, we're not going to point down to the ground, but that motion. Okay, we're still going to drive the knee up as we do our butt kicks in that motion. And you still want to have good strike into the ground. So if you have the space, you can do that as well for 10 yards. If you don't, you could do it in place for, 7 to 8 seconds. Cool. All right, I'm gonna add one to it today for our short dynamics. It's just called Pogo sticks or Pogo Jumps. And what this works on is just creating stiffness. Okay, so whenever you strike the ground, you want to have good, strong ground contact. Okay, and you want to have good stiffness in the joint, especially at the ground. So when you strike, you actually push it forward. Okay, so what we do is we work on something called Pogo Jumps. You can do these in place, or you can actually do them moving. But what we want to work on is having good stiffness from the hip, knee, and ankle and foot, so that when we strike the ground, it'll push us forward. And this is just another kind of warm up part of our dynamics that we use to get our athletes prepared to not only be quick and be twitchy, but to also be prepared to be stiff and strong with our ground contact. All right. So, Ozzy, let's do this for, let's go 10 yards. Same thing, 5 yards across, 5 yards back. Keep the elbows tight and really just pogo against the ground as you move across. Cool. All right. See if I don't know if this will look right to y'all. But on today, we have a lot of ground start work on this kind of bright, huh? Let's see. Y'all see that? Kinda. If you can't see it, I'll walk you through. I don't know, it might be kind of bright. I'm gonna make sure y'all get this. But today we have a lunge position ground mechanic work. So that's in the lunge position. We're gonna work on our arm swings. On Monday, we worked on arm swings sitting, working on posture, but we were in a seated position. Today, we're gonna come up and we're gonna be in a lunge position and work on the arm swings. All right. We're not gonna do the deceleration cone work. I'm gonna show it to you, kind of give you an example. But we don't have the space to show you in this setting because that drill is kind of long. And we have kneeling starts, and I want to do prone starts with you guys today. So we're going to go over 3 different styles, or 2 different styles of ground starts, which really works on acceleration, okay? So it's you pushing up off the ground and getting into that drive phase mode, if you will. So right now, we're going to get into the lunge position ground mechanic. All right, and kind of give you an example, we'll do 4 sets of 10 seconds on each side if you were in the program. But today, we'll just kind of sample each side, all right? So let's go, Ozzy, let's go right leg up, all right, in this lunge position. All right, so again, if we're going to be working on acceleration, can you still hear me, Ozzy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so if we're still working on acceleration, what we don't want to do is we're not going to practice our swings up here, because when we actually do our drive phase, we're going to be leaning forward. So we don't want to have to go from here to lean. We want to already kind of be in this position, all right? So I want you to stand tall with your posture, okay? This front foot, all right? You're going to go ahead and load it up and kind of get that knee over the toe, and the back leg, that foot is going to be in the ground. So you want your toe in the ground. What you do not want is that, all right? So dig that toe in the back, in the ground. Nice little forward lean. Let's have good straight posture here from the hip up to the shoulder. And then we have a nice, smooth arm swing, okay? So what you'll do is you'll keep your head in a neutral position, knee over the toe, nice arm swing. You should feel that hip being pretty loaded, all right? You do that for 10 seconds, all right? Ozzy, let me get you to bend that elbow a little bit more as it comes up. Now, as you go down, it might open up a little bit, especially in the drive phase. As you come up, I need you to kind of back to more of a 90 or a little bit more than a 90-degree angle on that elbow. Right. Okay, so let's do the other side now. Let's load up that left leg. Nice, erect, straight posture. Yep. Yes. Nice. Okay, so all of this stuff that you're gonna see right now, like these simple kind of seated stationary drills, are still like hidden dynamics, hidden warm-up. A lot of times, like when we're doing speed work, we might spend literally 30 to 35, 40 minutes on what the athletes don't realize is basically an extended warm-up. And the last 20 minutes of the workout is really the meat of the workout as far as them actually getting true speed work in. So just keep that in mind. The other part I want to go into is our actual kneeling start, okay? I can kind of show you a little bit here, but I'll be kind of walking through it because of the camera angle or whatever. But so our kneeling start, we're going to take that same position, okay? So if I'm running this way, let's say, or like we have been before, if I'm in this same position right here, I'll load up this front hip and foot, okay? Nice and straight. I'll go ahead and get that opposite hand up by the face cheek and the right hand by the butt cheek. So I'm ready to push out with good arm swing and pushing off this front foot, okay? So as I'm here in this lunge position, on my cue or the coach's or the trainer's cue, you will go and you will push out of that into a drive phase, okay? And so those are called kneeling starts. So Ozzy, if you will, man, let's get in that lunge position. And if you have about 10 yards of space, I want you to actually push out of this lunge position into your drive phase. Okay? Make sure before you take off that you have a nice forward lean, right? And then you can really push and begin your drive. Yes, okay? Hey, and just like we did on Monday, when you're doing, when we did our falling starts, whoa, it's a huge ant. When we did our falling starts on Monday, you want to be strong with that first step. And that's important. In our drive, that start is really important. Every single step really matters, especially when we're in that acceleration phase. All right, we need strong, explosive, positive, usable steps. But that is the right mindset right there, Ozzy. So what we would do there is we would go 4 sets of 20 yards, okay, with about 30 to 40 seconds of rest in between. Nothing crazy, all right? Don't want to get, again, conditioning mixed up with true speed work. If you're really, really, really and truly, guys, working on speed, you will rest. You will rest and recover so that you can get back to max effort so that you can produce max velocity whenever you're sprinting, okay? So just keep that in mind, you know, while you're not with the teams, you guys, if you're truly working on speed, allow yourself to rest, okay? All right. And outside of kneeling starts, the other acceleration drill that we have on day 2 are called our prone starts, okay? So in our prone starts are on our stomach, all right? So you'll be laying down flat on the ground, okay? Go ahead and you can actually, we teach hands off the ground, so we give a little pop and push as we drive, but it's okay to have your hands on the ground, all right? And again, all of this is working on is for you to get acceleration out of different angles and different positions, okay? So our prone start, you'll be on your stomach here. You can do it on your cue or your trainer's cue. As soon as you get the cue, you pop and begin to push, okay? So as you push up off the ground at the same time, you're bringing that foot up, and being on the ground, you're already kind of gonna be in that acceleration angle, if you will, to where you're coming up and you're pushing, okay? So positive steps again. As you push up, you're gonna drive, you can choose what foot, and then you push out all one motion. You wanna try to be as explosive as you can as you push out with those first 3 to 5 steps, of course, in that 10. So let's try it out, Ozzy. Chris, Charles, if you guys have any questions, y'all please, you know, please ask. Yep. Right. Hey, and I like that first step too. It was right under your hip. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two main ground start drills that we do when it comes to our second day of speed school. The other drill that I didn't show was the deceleration cone drill, and we like to just work in corrective exercise even in our speed work because outside of track, having good speed and explosion, you want to also be able to stop and go because it's about how fast can you stop, how fast can you get back up to full speed, how fast can you stop. You know the game. Y'all know the game. So we work on acceleration work with our athletes because, again, our number one goal and our number one concern is health first, and then it's about performance. Because if you're on the sideline, you're no good, okay? So the deceleration drill basically is for 40 yards. Every 10 yards, we can choose a leg to drop our hips on to end up into a lunge position, okay? So let me show you. So basically, if I'm jogging for 10 yards, and then I begin to drop my hips, and I end up in this nice lunge, soft hip and knee, position. And what this position allows me to do in sports, especially the sports that we play like rugby and football, when you're able to get down in this position, it allows you to push off and change directions, okay? And remember when I talked about like acceleration, you know, the posterior chain, you know, your deceleration is with the quads as we try to stop. It's just good practice on proper deceleration drills and mechanics. So all it is, we teach corrective exercise and deceleration as well. Again, your job, drop your hips, 10 yards, then you push off again, job, drop your hips, at 10 yards, push off again, and you just get a lot of good reps of stop and go. That's basically all it is. Let's just try it out one time, Ozzy.
That way.
Yeah. You can actually, if you'll go back and kind of jog towards us, that'll be good. Whenever you're stopping, we can really see your body and your mechanics. Hey, get out my video now. Okay, so what you want to try to do is try not to allow your knee to hit the ground. Try to have enough strength to stay above the ground because you want to stop yourself before you actually touch the ground. So it's working on the strength and the control in your hip and your foot and your ankle and all of that. So like your stopping position will be like here, right above the ground, not all the way down. And that's just so we're not hitting the knee on the ground. We don't want to do that. And then so that we can practice good strength and control in that hip to be able to run full speed. We got to pop our hip and change directions because that takes strength. Okay, so that's the only cue that I have for you on that. As far as what I can see here, Ozzy.
Okay.
All right, and yeah, and to kind of give you an idea, yeah. So we would go 4 sets of about 40 yards, and we'd stop every 10 yards. We'd rest 1 minute in between those 4 sets. Okay. You can do 2 sets, really working on the right leg every single time, you know, being in the front, and then you do 2 sets with the other leg, being in the front as well. Let me check. Yeah. Okay. And then on day 2, you guys, so like our cool down, again, is targeting the hip flexors, the calves, and our feet. So we're rolling out the arches of our feet. We're actually rolling out the bottom of our toes, making sure that we can, so like if this is our foot and we have like a ball that we can put our foot on, we want to lift that each toe and try to move those toes individually. You know, it's just, you know, all of our joints, especially starting our foot, is so important to be strong and have good movement through them, so that when we're sprinting again and we don't have any power leaking. Okay, so that's the cool down. Any kind of static stretching, any kind of tightness that you feel, we can do that. We do foam roll. You have a Theragun or something that you want to get into the soft tissue in the areas, we do that as well. But today, the other thing that we added in was doing soft tissue work on our feet. I think that though soft tissue work on our feet gets neglected, a lot of times we just roll out our back and we roll out our legs and then we go. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for me? No?
Oh.
Charles, any questions? Chris, any questions? We good?
None here. This is awesome.
Cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Cool. Okay. So, hey, if you guys need anything or if y'all have any questions between now and Friday, feel free to hit me up, Bryson Tucker on Facebook, or any of the social media. Sacrifice Training is the name of my business. I ain't even introduced myself today to the people that didn't know. But I am the owner of Sacrifice Training Athletic Performance, founder of Speed School. Man, the program is, you know, it's good. It hammers in on the fundamentals. And like I was telling Ozzy last time, I feel like running mechanics are one of the things that's really, really under-taught, especially on the grade school level. And then that just continues, honestly, through college and professional athletes. If you're fast, you're fast. If you're not, you're not a lot of times. take a lot of pride in running mechanics and teaching guys about how to get faster, because everybody can get faster now. How much faster you can get, some of that is already dictated by, you know, your DNA and your parents. But it's also dictated by how much you devote to the training, how strong you are, and how much work you put in on the craft, like anything else. But that's all I have, you know, for you guys today. For day 2, we'll be back at the same spot on Friday at 12 p.m. for day 3. I will get you guys at least a snapshot of sets and reps and what we've done this week for you guys for Speed School. So if you don't have any questions.
No, thank you very much. It was great.
I appreciate it, Ozzy. Thanks, Charles and Chris, for logging in. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Definitely.
We did.
Thank you so much.
All
We
right.
did. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yes, sir.